Something just happened in the $30 trillion American bond market that we haven't seen since October 1929. But this time the warning isn't about banks or mortgages. This time the 1929 signal is coming from the heart of the massive AI bubble, and it just destroyed one of the biggest tech companies on the planet. Oracle. Oracle's stock plummeted and fell around 50%. Something much scarier happened though. The company's debt, the money they borrowed to build their AI empire, started trading like garbage. And when a giant company like Oracle breaks the bond market, it sends shockwaves through every single tech stock, every retirement account, and the entire AI story that Wall Street has been selling us. I'm going to show you exactly how this historic bond signal is the real reason the tech market is falling apart right now. Welcome to Lion Finance. Let me explain something important. The bond market is the bedrock of everything in finance. Think of it like a foundation of a house. Stocks are the fancy furniture on top. But bonds are what everything sits on. When you buy a bond, you're lending money to a company or the government. They promise to pay you back with interest. Bonds are supposed to be safe, boring, even predictable. But here's the problem. For years, the biggest tech companies, including Oracle, didn't fund their massive growth with cash from their business. They funded it with trillions of dollars of borrowed money. They assumed the foundation would never crack. Then Oracle dropped a bomb. Oracle just announced garbage earnings. They revealed they need to spend a stunning additional $50 billion on AI infrastructure. How are they paying for it? More borrowing, more debt. The market had what I call a Jesse Livermore moment. Back in 1929, the legendary trader Jesse Livermore saw something weird happening with treasury bonds. Bonds that are supposed to be rock solid safe. He knew something was very wrong, and he became extremely rich from the 1929 crash. But again, you do need to be careful around Jesse Livermore and his figure because he did some very bad choices. So make sure to do your own research there. But today we are seeing that Oracle's own bonds are trading like absolute junk, high-risk garbage. And that's the 1929 signal flashing red. So what is happening to Oracle and why is this happening? Analysts are raising alarms because Oracle's debt compared to what they actually own is dangerously high. It's called leverage. They've borrowed way too much money. Here's the scary part. There's something called a credit default swap. Think of it like insurance on bonds. If you think a company might not pay back its debt, you buy this insurance. Right now, the cost of insurance on Oracle's bonds is spiking, and it's way too high. The market is terrified that Oracle can't pay back the money they're borrowing for their massive $300 billion contract with OpenAI. This isn't just a stock problem. This is the credit crisis for the entire AI sector. When the bond market says, "We don't trust your debt," the stock market has no choice but to panic. And it gets worse. Oracle's collapse is dragging down other tech giants too. Nvidia dropped, Broadcom tumbled, the whole NASDAQ is bleeding. Why? Because they all rely on the same game plan. Borrow massive amounts of money to build AI infrastructure and hope it pays off later. So let me give you an extremely relatable parallel. This should sound familiar. Let me take you back to 2008. On March 13th, 2008, Bear Stearns, one of Wall Street's most powerful banks, tried to sell its safest bonds to get cash, but nobody wanted them. Within 48 hours, Bear Stearns was dead, wiped out. Why? Because the foundation cracked. The bond market stopped working. Today, we're seeing something similar, but with a twist. In 2008, the problem was leverage in the mortgage market. Banks borrowed way too much money, betting on housing. Today, the leverage is everywhere, including in the corporate bonds that fund the AI revolution. When Oracle's bonds turn to junk, the leverage starts unwinding across the entire financial system. Companies and investors are forced to sell, and panic spreads like wildfire. And here's what makes it even scarier. The Federal Reserve, the people who saved the system in 2008, are stepping back, and they're letting bonds roll off their balance sheet. They are not buying anymore. The government itself owns around $38 trillion, and they can't afford another massive bailout. So, the safety net seems to be gone. In 1929, the signal was weird, trading in treasury bonds. In 2025, the signal is a $100 billion tech giant whose bonds are trading like trash. And this is the massive red flag. The cascade is swift and merciless. It starts with a few cracks, like Oracle's near 50% plunge, and suddenly everyone realizes the AI emperor has no clothes. These companies borrowed massive amounts of money, betting on an AI future that might not arrive fast enough to pay back the debt. Here's what you need to do. You need to diversify your investments. You need to hold cash if necessary, but make sure to buy gold and silver when you're ready. Avoid taking on excessive debt yourself. Don't assume the tech stocks will bounce back just because they already have before. This time is different. The foundation is cracking. So remember, the most terrifying thing about financial crises is how fast they can happen. Bear Stearns collapsed in literally 2 days, and the bond market just flashed a signal we haven't seen since 1929. Don't be the person who learns this lesson too late. Watch this video next, as YouTube recommends you will like it.